London calling YouTube, London calling everyone, and once again tonight I am joined by the pirate that is also a Coquipirate.
Hello.
And the delectable Oldevamypr.
Greetings from Hy-Vee.
And I called you indescribable last time. I need the transcendent SchizophrenicQueen.
Whee!
My thoughts exactly. And there's been some buzz on YouTube recently. Bob Wallace has made at least one video that there's some more bullshit fear-mongering over marijuana. And I've been hearing this shit for years. One joint will fuck your brain up forever. And now I think it's being claimed that marijuana can be linked with fatal heart attacks. Now, my point will be, what I'm going to argue is that bullshit while drugs generally, and I'm not going to buy into gateway drug bullshit, but when it comes to warning people about drugs, there are reasons, because some can be very, very harmful. You don't want to be addicted to crack or heroin, for example. You don't want to go out and take 12 E's in one night. When I was a teenager, I eventually just thought, fuck it. I don't care, I'll take drugs if I want to. And the reason was that the kind of education we had was bullshit. There was a huge campaign about this girl called Leah Betts, that she'd died from 1E. And in fact what she'd done was to overhydrate, because she knew that you dehydrated on E. She overcompensated. Too much water killed Leah Betts, 1E didn't. And you can still say it's a drugs-related death, if you like, but and obviously very, very sad, very tragic. But essentially, a whole campaign was built on a bullshit claim. And to be honest, if you basically feed people a load of misinformation, if you're obviously just trying to scare people with bullshit, they'll turn against it out of nothing else, bloody mindedness. Because you just lose credibility, and people don't like being fucked with. So, actually, I suppose really the question is, when will bullshit fear-mongering stop, given that this is not an effective way of warning people or educating people or arming people when it comes to any kind of drug? Koki, your thoughts?
Well, it's always been this way. And granted, the whole fear-mongering of alcohol in the Prohibition era has never entirely gone away. But I guess normalcy is ultimately what's going to treat this kind of stuff, when it's just sort of accepted as a recreational activity that people indulge in, like drinking, which, for better or for worse, I'm just saying that's probably when the fear-mongering will die down. It's particularly tragic because this part of the marijuana discussion isn't as big in the United Kingdom, I've noticed, but it's a huge deal in the United States. Medicinal marijuana, doctors being able to prescribe marijuana even though it's illegal, creating certain exceptions like you can grow it but you can't distribute and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it has shown some concrete benefits to people with any number of conditions. I'm thinking particularly of my grandmother who suffers from glaucoma, and marijuana has shown to be effective in treating glaucoma. But even if medicinal marijuana were legal in Puerto Rico, which it isn't, but even if she were in a U.S. state that legalized marijuana, she'd be declining help that would, benefit her on the basis of fear-mongering. So there's that side of the coin as well. Even when it's used for pharmaceutical purposes, because of the fear-mongering, people will turn down help that they need.
Yeah, that's actually an angle I hadn't thought of. And actually, I don't quite know what the situation is in the UK. Well, when you talk about the things that we just accept as normal recreational things, I seem to remember being told, no one quote me on this, I'll have to look this up, that because obviously go back far enough, the British had no laws about any of this, which is why if you read Victorian literature, you can just go to the local chemist. For chemist, read pharmacy and pick up some opium or something. People would have an opium teacher. And when you read about Sherlock Holmes, injecting himself with a 7% solution of cocaine, it was perfectly legal, and actually people would have said medicinal. Which actually I think cocaine has been used medically. In fact, I think oddly enough Hitler was given cocaine eye drops, and he was given amphetamines in some form or other, which is one of those weird things about Hitler. Hitler was on cocaine and speed, but anyway. But when the British Parliament actually sat on all of this, the bill potentially would have included alcohol and tobacco, but because people who sat in Parliament drank themselves and smoked themselves, that's why they were exempt. So if there'd been a lot more people, if a lot more politicians had done these other drugs themselves, they'd never have been outlawed. That's just basically. I mean, as I say, I can't verify that story right now, but that is what I may even have been taught that at school actually. But in any case, so to get it back to fear-mongering, where obviously, I mean, Tracy, growing up in the US, when you did, would you say? I mean, I would imagine it's actually has it changed, or was it basically the same old bullshit? Oh, if you smoke marijuana, you will blah 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 blah. Is it the more things change, the more things stay the same, basically?
Actually, when I went to school, what they did, like in '72 and through '76, it was more giving us the facts. It really, I think that really worked because, a lot of my peers never did try any of the harder drugs. It's like marijuana sounded kind of interesting, and, I tried that, but I knew that the other drugs were more harmful, and so I stayed away from them. So I think just, giving us the facts and not the fear-mongering, we knew that we were being told the truth, and we trusted the information that was given to us. So I was kind of lucky that way. I just happened to went to school right at that time. And the fear-mongering I heard more it's like from like Christian radio and that. But yeah, I was a teenager at a very good time in history.
I'm now picturing you as a character in that '70s show.
Oh yes, I see myself there too. I love that show. It's like reliving my childhood.
And Queenie, your thoughts on drugs and fear-mongering?
Well, I think the fear-mongering only works to a certain extent, and I'd say only with certain people. I mean, you're always going to have the people who are like, oh, you're not the boss of me, and they do what they want. I think in cases like this, fear-mongering actually probably does more harm than good. I think if you armed people with education on the subjects of which they might find themselves embroiled, that they would be better equipped to handle whatever comes at them. Whereas if you're just like, don't do this, is bad, it's not really conveying a very concise message.
Yeah. What do you have to say to the sort of idea of what Tracy was saying, just for fuck's sake, just give people the cold, hard facts?
I think that's a good approach. I mean, like with many other things, what we need are the facts, and what we're not getting are the facts.
In fact, we're told bullshit, like, one joint will mess with your head for life. Marijuana supposedly being connected with heart attacks, and also the misinformation that I was told growing up about which I suppose was a knee-jerk thing because ecstasy was a big thing in the 90s that young people were trying. They could have told us some genuine things, like if you're on ecstasy, you've got no psychological defense, so people can mess you over. Your pupils expand. because you're basically your body and your mind both give up any kind of resistance to anything, and because because your pupils expand as if you're in darkness even when you're not, you can actually burn your retinas. So there are presumably people with eyesight problems because of ecstasy. They could have told us that instead of telling us that one could kill you. And at least then, if someone still takes they can make sure they do it with people they trust. They can wear sunglasses, or make sure they don't go out into sunlight, and drink a certain quantity of water, but don't go overboard. So you literally overhydrate your body. Okay, I'm gonna. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, where there's risk in everything. I mean, everything you do carries a certain amount of risk, and understanding what that certain amount of risk is a lot more effective in helping you out of any given situation, or helping you prepare for any given situation, than blowing the risk out of proportion, so that there's basically this idea that, oh, just do it, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And I think that there's something we need to bear in mind. If they want to reduce the usage of a certain product, are they effectively doing this by isolating the groups that indulge in this product? Yeah. You know, if the very act of trying to moderate gets you not just sent to jail, but it carries the stigma, then are you going to stop these people from consuming it?
Yeah, I would say that definitely ostracizing a group, I would say definitely worsens the problem. Apart from anything else, the fact that once you've even owned some dope, you've crossed the line into criminal, I would say is a problem. Because it's like, well, you're already calling me a criminal because of this thing, so, okay. And then also, of course, marijuana being illegal, it only is a gateway drug in one sense, which is that you're already buying it from somebody who's breaking the law, who, depending on this, and I have known people who only sold marijuana and they drew the line at anything else. But at the same time, you'll also get people, and of course sometimes you can buy marijuana that's been cut with something else. I'm fairly sure there's been crack in stuff that I've smoked before now. But anyway, I'll open up the floor for any closing remarks.
I was going to say something really clever, and then I forgot what it was.
Ah, damn it.
When you said marijuana being cut with something else, well, I think that's, the illegal, you don't have a business, bureau, Better Business Bureau to call or whatever. But I know that I have smoked something that let's see, pig tranquilizer in it? Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like I thought it tasted kind of strange, but but that's not really what I wanted to smoke, So.
Oh, I know a way you can make the access to. I know a way you could get people to cut down on drug use. You legalize it and you make it outlandishly expensive.
There you go.
Well, how much money would they make just taxing the stuff?
Exactly.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the logic behind, a lot of the cigarette taxes in the U.S., that it's supposed to cover the cost of lung cancer. And, if you do think it's a health hazard, then you may as well have them pay for it as opposed to, criminalizing it so that no one pays for it. You pay doubly, 1 for police enforcement and 2 for medical treatment.
Yeah, I'll definitely go along with that. And I'll throw in one thing, one last thought, which is, when I was a kid, there was this stuff called skunk, which was like this artificially made, like marijuana. It was marijuana, but it was like enhanced chemically or something as it grew. And that was the one. You didn't always know what you were getting, and that was the one that, like, could be, like, potentially dangerous, or at least supposedly it caused erratic behavior and mood swings, things like that. Just sell the good, clean, decent, natural stuff if it's legal, and then put the criminals out of business, and there won't be so much stuff like skunk on the market. And a quick goodbye from Cokie.
Pig tranquilizer, not even once.
And goodbye from Old Vampire.
Goodbye.
And Queenie?
Your mama, fool.